Disney have announced their new slate of upcoming movies up until 2027.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Why don't we all talk about it here? Because there's 3 of us this time, if you can believe that.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know you can. I'm
Yep.
talking to people who are listening and watching.
I don't believe it.
You'll
never be able to
doesn't
convince
believe
me
it.
that I'm here.
Andrew Levins is here from various podcasts, including Hey Fam, where I don't know, what are you talking about, movies and stuff, don't you?
Yeah,
Comic
movies
books,
and
video
comics.
games,
That's
got a
right,
big
very
focus
true.
on that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll link it below. People should definitely check it out.
And Kevin Smith tweets.
Yeah, that's probably, the majority of.
About 75%.
Yes, but what are you, have you guys seen this? What Disney are going to end up doing with the Marvel properties and such and such?
Why don't you tell us about
I
it?
would love to talk about it. First of all, we're getting 2 Marvel movies a year. So if you thought it was slowing down after Endgame, heads up. Fuck you, it's not.
Well, kind of is, because they were doing 3.
That's true. Well, okay, what it is. So next year we're getting 2. It's rumored to be both The Eternals and Black Widow. And then in 2021 and 2022, it's 3 again.
Okay, good.
So,
So
yeah.
they're ramping up.
So we're probably getting, your Doctor Strange 2s and your Black Panther 2s. But do you think it's going to be a focus on building new characters and such and so forth?
I think it's going to be like, they're not going to go chase an Endgame again.
Yeah.
Like in this, I think they're going to give themselves a little bit of a break, tell some smaller scale stories, but also we're going to see a lot more cosmic stuff. Eternals obviously being like the most cosmic movie they've ever done.
Yeah.
And then I guess hopefully that will make like the all the movies on Earth a bit more grounded, especially if obviously Black Widow is going to be a prequel before all this
Yes.
space shit
Levins,
happens.
do you want it to be a prequel?
No.
Do you think it will be a prequel?
What I want is spoilers for Endgame.
Sure.
I would love it to be part prequel where you learn just how heroic and great, like if it was set in 3 time periods. So 1, we finally see Budapest with her and Hawkeye. Maybe we see a little bit of like her. I don't really want to know all the horrible things that she's done to become the Black Widow.
We
But
get
she
the
always-
general idea, yeah.
Yeah.
I do it.
She
I do
killed
wanna
some
see-
ballerinas or something. We get it.
They deserved it. They had it coming to them. I want to see like what happened in Budapest. Then I want to see what she was doing during the 5 years in in Endgame, where she was the head of the Avengers. And then I want to have current day, a bunch of heroes trying to get her back.
Right.
And so we see all this 3 separate plot lines that all come together at some point, basically showing, yeah, she's the best, and then at the end they get her back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like something like she's falling to her death and she's like, how did I get here? And then it flashes back.
the record scratch.
Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering.
Yeah, well, there is a problem with if you go and resurrect her from grabbing her through time, which you can do because they did it to Gamora. Because that timeline is then missing a Black Widow. And would she even want to go? Which is like, well, why would I want to jump ahead 5 years where everything's awful?
Yeah.
I could stay here.
I don't want them to do it through time. I want them to actually go and make a deal with Red Skull.
Yeah, right,
And
yeah.
get her back.
Maybe beat him up a bit.
Yeah, rough him around.
Yeah, sure, yeah. There's rumors of Nova as well. A lot of people have been talking about that character showing up. Do you think that's a possibility? Dudes, do you think that?
I think it is. Power-wise, he's quite similar to your Captain Marvels, as an example. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw it in to be like, hey, you didn't like Captain Marvel?
What if Captain Marvel was a dude?
Yeah, same power set, but it's a dude. Hey, you like blue, red, gold costumes and shooting lasers out of your hands and flying through space?
But a dude.
But a dude, it's for you.
I hope they do that. I hope they do it kind of based on the Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning Nova run, where all the Novas except him, except what's his name, Richard Rider,
Coltrane.
Robbie Coltrane.
You've broken lemons,
Yeah.
Mason.
I'm just now I'm just imagining Robbie Coltrane
Just flying through space.
but
It'd be incredible.
just not even in a outfit.
No, just on the Hagrid motorcycle, but he's in his civvies, like his real life clothes.
But Richard Rider is the
Richard
answer.
Rider.
Yes,
Yeah.
they all died except him, and so he got all the power, right?
Yeah, and communicating with because obviously the Jarvis Iron Man stuff works really well, but
Yep.
Nova's helmet is sentient as well, and
Yeah, right.
has all of the history of the Nova Force, Nova Corps,
Yeah.
within it. I don't know. That's a fun thing to explore, and for it to be like a lost in space on your lonesome movie
Yeah.
for a while, that could be really fun.
It could also be, and it just occurred to me because there is another Nova, right? There's like a kid Nova,
Nova,
version.
yeah.
So maybe you team them up, you put them through space, make it like the Road.
Yeah, if it's like one
You know,
guy.
Grimm.
Yeah, it's cannibals.
Yeah.
Make a nihilist the villain. That'd be great.
Yeah, good stuff. More cosmic-y stuff, though, is what you guys are thinking.
Yes.
For Nova, I mean,
For
some of
space.
them, yeah.
Cosmic
Yeah.
stuff in space.
Yeah.
You don't want suburban stuff in space and cosmic stuff on Earth.
when do we get
That's
Beta Ray
crazy.
Bill?
That's a very good question.
If that was just like, if that was like, yeah, we're making that next year.
We're going to move on to Star Wars, though, because The Rise of Skywalker is the last Star... That's the right title, isn't it? Yeah. I had to second guess
It doesn't
myself.
sound real to me.
Yeah. Is the last Star Wars movie until 2022. There's going to be a bit of a break. They kind of got... The kind of kicking that they've kind of got from The Last Jedi and Solo doing poorly means that they're taking a bit of a break. It's still continuing on Disney Plus and they're still doing comics, but it's going to be 2022, 2024, 2026.
And surely they have a beloved franchise that they could put in those years that Star
if
Wars
only they
isn't
had
on.
something.
A long-running franchise that everyone loves and remembers all of the character names of.
Absolutely, yeah.
Name one character in Avatar.
Jake Sully.
Is actually his name?
That's the main guy.
Huh.
Anyone got another one?
No.
Or do I win?
Yeah, you win Avatar.
You're the winner.
Congratulations.
Hey, look, it's James Cameron. He's coming here in a helicopter. He's giving you an award for remembering a character's name from Avatar.
He's going to fuck you with his tail.
No, I don't want that.
Is that what happens in Avatar?
That's exactly what happens in that.
Levins, you win an award. Yes. It's knowing some of the plot of Avatar.
On Star Wars, though, it seems like that one of those trilogies that they were planning, the David Benioff, B.D. Weiss one or the Rian Johnson one, is got by the wayside. And it's rumored that it's Rian Johnson, that he's out, which is... I think is kind of ashamed. Am I on the same? Is people on the same page?
I would like to.
Everyone's on the same page as you. Everyone loved. It's the most beloved Star Wars movie.
But I think a lot of people who hate The Last Jedi also hate Game of Thrones now. So I think it's people kind of like, well, it's all bad, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, look, I think
Life is pointless.
I think there's a lot of these days. I think there's a lot of fans who are right on the knife edge of like, I love this more than anything in the world. Oh, I hate it now. More than anything in the world.
than anything
So
in the world, yeah.
that's I think what they say about Star Wars fans. That nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
I want to know what happens with the broom kid.
I think that was a metaphor for like the future.
No,
but you know
it was a
what?
literal broom kid.
Yeah.
But we'll probably just see him in the next one. He's like, and I'm a Jedi too. I've got two lightsabers, and they're both double-sided.
And they're both brooms.
And they're both rooms as well. Yeah, yeah. So, have you been watching Game of Thrones?
No.
Okay, so you don't know where
I
it's at.
haven't
So
watched a
it's-
second of it.
How is that
That
possible?
makes me pretty cool and unique, and I like to tell people about it on
That's a
Facebook
really good
all
point,
the time.
actually. Yeah.
Look.
I'm listening.
Listen, personally, I'd rather the Ryan Johnson.
The Ryan Jonestown.
The Ryan Jonestown massacre.
Oh,
It's my
goodness.
But I would rather a trilogy that takes a big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
As opposed to
We already
hey,
got that. It was called the prequel trilogy.
I'd want another one. I want a scene by scene remake of that. I'd rather that than, hey, here's another trilogy and there's a big satellite base and we got to blow up the base.
Well, the rumor is that for the Game of Thrones guys that it's Knights of the Old Republic. That is a rumor. None of that has been confirmed.
We don't know
way.
that. We just assume that because Game of Thrones is old-timey fantasy.
There's been
and we
some
all think
inkling,
it's-
Mason. There's
yeah.
been some industry buzz, probably. I don't know that for a fact. But let's say that there is.
All right.
Yeah. Talking of Avatar, though.
Finally.
I mean, what's happening here?
James, you've won a prize for talking about Avatar.
It's James Cameron.
Probably won't be the biggest franchise or the biggest movie of all time soon-ish. But there's a chance that James Cameron could make this good, right? I say because he's standing right behind me.
He's poised with yet another award.
With a trophy.
That movie was so earnest and like epic, and I feel like the time for that is over. Like just
But
in
he's not
entertainment.
always earnest and epic. Like he's subverted your expectations in the 90s and 80s and such.
Well, we thought young John Connor was going to be a straight up cool, like a good, well behaved kid, and then he wasn't a well behaved kid.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a rebel. So I guess you're right.
He was hacking into that ATM with an
I love that
Atari something. Yeah.
The Atari
Yeah.
portfolio.
It's a piss cake, he says.
Yes, he
Remember
does.
that?
He says it's a piss cake.
Yeah.
Piss cake.
Yeah, but I don't, again, a lot of people have said this though. You can't rule out James Cameron knocking this out of the park. Because he's made really nothing but hits.
That's true.
Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can see it still doing well, but I just.
Yeah. I mean, being good. I'm saying being
Four.
good.
Is it 4 movies they've locked in?
Well, it depends on how well they do.
But how many did they announce?
It's 4, yeah.
4, yeah.
But if like the first one tanks and then the second one tanks, I don't think.
No,
we're
we've
gonna
locked
get-
in. Let's keep making these.
He's got the money, so he could. Yeah.
What do we get? They've delayed the second one.
Yes.
They've been
pushed
doing it
back
for
a year,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
And-
we're going to be getting that and then Star Wars.
So
Maybe
you-
it's so people will love Star Wars again. They're like, well, what if we release
Yeah.
something that people hate and forget? And then people will be back on board. What about X-Men? This is what they're doing with X-Men. Gambit is dead officially.
Poor Channing.
I know. That's done. And also, New Mutants has been pushed back another year.
I reckon, is that going to be reshoots or they're just going to...
It's done, right? They're going to...
Is it? Yeah.
Well, as we know with Dark Phoenix, they did some reshoots and they changed the finale from outer space to a train.
Whoa.
So who knows what they're going to change in New Mutants, you know?
Yeah, outer space.
I'll put it in outer space.
It's got old mutants.
Oh.
Yeah. But do you think there's a chance... Because Disney didn't make this
Just
movie.
a clip show of all the other X-Men movies.
Yeah. That Disney inherited this movie. They're
Yeah.
under no obligation to release it. They didn't
Yeah.
pay for it. I mean, they did in the deal, the overall deal, but could it hurt them more than help them if they release this Fox X-Men movie that nobody wants?
I feel like those movies just going to make money, right?
Some yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like they never really run it all. Like, you know, they've always made their money back.
That's probably accurate.
of course,
Maybe
also,
Apocalypse not as much.
If
but
they
yeah.
don't release it, then obviously the fans are going to release an online petition.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to fold, you know, obviously, because
Yeah.
it always works, right? An online petition.
Always and every time. The thing it's a bit worrying is, though, the last thing I want to touch on is Disney are only going to release 5 to 6 Fox movies a year as opposed to like the 10 to 12 they've been doing. I mean, that's to be expected because, you know, you've got a whole lot of so many more properties under your banner.
I think this is kind of like very telling of like their first few years with this merger, though. I'm sure that'll expand over the next decade. But
Yeah.
I mean, what have been like the big Fox movies over the last
Alien.
year? Yeah. Alien, the X-Men movies, Deadpool,
Yep. I could see that getting revived.
Die
sooner
Hard
rather than later.
sequels.
Oh, yeah, they got that John McClane sequel that they were
That's
talking
right.
about.
That's
yeah.
right.
I don't know. It remains to be seen. The future is Disney and we all must embrace it.
There was an Indiana Jones movie in there too, right?
Yes. Oh, that is happening. Yeah. So, that's Indiana Jones 5 in 2 years, is it? 3 years?
And is that going to be a similar like future, present?
Apparently, it's a train
Past.
full of Nazi treasure that
Sure, it
he's
was meant to
going
be. It was
after.
originally set in space, and now it's a train.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sort of interested in that, I guess.
I love that.
That's the most they can hope for these days. Sort of interested in that.
Imagine if Crystal Skull did well enough that they were like, okay, cool, we're going to give Shia LaBeouf his own spin-off, and we were now watching,
The Mutt Chronicles.
yeah, Mutt Jones.
Well, that was the idea.
Ah.
What a world.
I just
what I'm
imagine a
saying.
movie called Mutt Jones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But guess what, everybody? What do people want to see out of Disney? I'd love to know what people's thoughts are. Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Are there any properties you want to see revived? How would they bring in the X-Men?
Which massive company should they take on next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like dream big, guys. Who would you like to see?
Should they
Disney?
buy Microsoft? Do you want to see a big budget Clippy the Paperclip movie? Perhaps, you know?
Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. Levins, you guessed it on the recent episode where we talked
It was
about...
apparently the best episode you've
I
ever
think
done.
it was, yeah. That's been
Congrats.
It's been regarded
James,
as
James
such.
Cameron's here to give you a medal for it.
But also, you have a number of podcasts yourself. Hey Fam, we talked about serious issues where you review comic books.
Yep, I do comic books. I've got one about indie games called All the Small Games, and I have one about music called Old Raps.
Oh, I forgot that one. I didn't mention it on the podcast.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's in hiatus at the moment because you have to pay money to put whole songs.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
It's ambitious, man. You should try having some.
I would never. I would never, and how dare you? All right, guys, thanks for watching.
Grab that Jimmy, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next time.
No, Levins.
It's my
This is a
catchphrase.
one and
Catchphrase.
done. No.
No, he's allowed. That's his catchphrase, and I like it. It's going to catch on, I reckon.